10 knockouts, 2 submissions, 3 decisions. Is Dominick Reyes any good? Dominic Reyes isn't going anywhere just yet. We had every reason to believe his career had crashed and burned, but he's beginning to turn it around in 2025. He's proving to the MMA world that you don't quit, even after your greatest win is stolen from you and you're suffering through multiple injuries and health scares. We aren't just going to give him a pat on the back in this video for turning his career around. We will give credit where it's due and then some. Because Dom's story could have been a very, very sad one. From looking like the next generation against Jon Jones to being badly damaged in his next 3 fights and plummeting down the rankings. But what we are witnessing instead is a career bounce back of legendary proportions. Not only putting together a 3-fight win streak all by knockout, but coming back from multiple facial fractures, a shoulder tear, and blood clots. There are some fighters who take a couple bad losses, then call it a career, and fair play to them. Pro fighting has serious consequences. Get in, get your money or glory, and get out. Then there is Dominick Reyes. What you are witnessing isn't just a fighter trying to make a name for themselves or make a living anymore. That part is done. But a fighter who knows he's destined for greatness, and will go to any lengths to achieve it. So let's talk Dominick Reyes, and get a deeper understanding of his fighting abilities and if he's truly capable of pulling off one of the sport's greatest career comebacks. Dominick Reyes, a high-intensity southpaw sniper fighter. Strike accuracy, 54%. Strikes landed per minute, 5.5. Great numbers for a striker in the heavier weight classes. Dominick has great footwork and can land going forward or backward. Strikes absorbed per minute, 3.5. He's brawled in the past, and it cost him dearly. Shouldn't see any more of that moving forward. Takedown average, 0.3. Submission average, also 0.3. Takedown accuracy, 29%. Strike defense, 50%. Takedown defense, 83%. Reyes is a former footballer and has great physical gifts for defensive grappling and clinch control, and this really shows. Knockdown average of 1, and an average fight time of 7 minutes, 34 seconds. And this is how Dominick Reyes is most likely to win a fight. By staying extra mobile and constantly finding ways to land his left hand or left leg, which are concussive. Dom avoids grappling entirely and prefers to be a force to be reckoned with in the stand-up. He's great in short bursts after hurting his opponent and can usually capitalize quick enough to get himself a TKO finish. He's a very experienced southpaw, but rarely switching stances or becoming dynamic. Other smart fighters can make reads on him and time him effectively. It's almost always a straight left or heavy left leg kick from Dom, and I would like to see more variance in his overall offense. But hey, it's gotten him this far, and it had Jon Jones on skates. Here's also a quote that I really like from Reyes. If I train hard enough and do what I have to do in order to prepare myself for an upcoming fight, I should be in a position to win. With football, you can do everything right, and because of the variety of factors that's involved in a game, the result may not go in your favor. With MMA, I feel like I have a greater control over my own destiny. This is true about MMA, but Reyes was probably hit with a real shock when he had to face the Jon Jones loss. He thought he won the first 3 rounds decisively, and maybe didn't push hard enough in the 4th and 5th as he probably could have. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think he let this moment eat him alive, and as a result, he became reckless in his next few fights, never wanting his performance to be impacted by inexperienced judging ever again. He ramped up the aggression, took even more risks coming forward, and became far too aggressive and left himself open to be caught with heavy counters. Rushing the KO finish as to never go to the scorecards again. This cost him brutally, being battered and knocked out in his next 3 fights. Strengths are lethal southpaw, great cardio, sharp counters. Weaknesses are low amount of weapons, carrying lots of injuries. Dominick wins with his explosive left hand. He's a great mover for the light heavyweight division. Not many people can really land on him when he's at his best. He's incredibly fast in the first round, and he's a hard southpaw to try and encroach on, period. Jacoby, Krylov, OSP, and Weidman all tried to crash in, and he countered them all with a left hand and knocked them out. Fights that go long work against Dominick, though. His style typically loses against people who brawl well like Yuri Prochazka, or tanks like Blachowicz. Best performance, his technical win over Jon Jones. Here, Reyes stayed incredibly mobile and light on his feet. This allowed him to outstrike Jon for about the first 17 minutes of the fight. Neither guy came close to a finishing sequence, but we need to give Reyes the edge here for aggression. I, along with the MMA fanbase, could care less what 3 senior citizens judging the fight think. Dom showed up in this one, and he did enough to beat Jon Jones. We all know what we watched. Commentary isn't reality, it's filler. Most fun, his brawl with Yuri Prochazka. Obviously not fun for Reyes, but for us, as we sit in our living room and scarf down a bag of Cheetos. He struggled to find the KO and was trapped in a wild brawl with Yuri Prochazka. It did not end well for him at all. But as for the fight itself, this was just a treat. Yuri just isn't in boring fights. It just is what it is with him. Now all 3 of these wins are dynamite KOs. He silenced any doubters with the recent Krylov win and honestly killed the dark horse in my opinion. I put a lot of stock into this win. Dustin Jacoby has a lifetime of kickboxing experience and Dominic stayed mobile and found his counter on the back foot. This was a special one, the get back. There are certain performances that really stand out in the UFC just because there are certain emotions attached to them. If Dominic lost this one, his career was probably going to come to an end. And that would have been a real sad moment, you know? Going from giving the pound for pound #1 in the sport the toughest test and arguably beating him to being finished back to back and having to be cut from the UFC. The Cannonier win never gets spoken about. Cheeky uppercuts, super underrated win, early stoppage, but oh well. Can't stop Mark Goddard from always needing to be the main character. Now Reyes' losses are really quite sad, in all honesty. He went into the Jon Jones fight undefeated, and really should have gotten the nod on the judges' scorecards. Just made completely zero sense. Dominic won the first 3 rounds, period. All Jones did was keep the numbers close with leg kicks in those rounds, and the judges sided with him. When in any other fight you watch, leg kicks are never scored more than punches, unless they are like visibly crippling their opponent. This was judge retardation at its peak, and altered the timeline of light heavyweight forever. Dom still got the world's respect for this, but that's not enough. 2 fights later and everyone completely dismisses him, and now we just care about Jan Blachowicz, who was really the first guy that Jones ducked before this whole Aspinall ordeal. Jan Blachowicz was that hungry contender waiting for the perfect moment to snatch that title, and he did his part. He got through Reyes. He broke his nose, and then Reyes just saw red after that and completely threw all technique out the window. He lost his composure. He resorted to brawling and was put away by Jan. And Yuri was just too awkward for him. It is what it is. These two just started warring from round 1 and made a big brawl of it. He was spinning elbowed and needed facial reconstruction after this. I think we should give Dominic Reyes the respect and give him a Yuri rematch. There's no way it can go worse than the first fight. You need to book this rematch. My verdict of Dominic Reyes is that he came within inches of capturing gold, but then handled the first loss with emotion. He fought less composed his next few fights and suffered a lot of damage. But this year he's making statements and showing the world he's not finished. He's still super dangerous and skilled even if he is riddled with injuries. But he refused to let that be the end of his story. And isn't only just picking up the pieces of his career, he's working towards a comeback of legend. Really hope he can reach the light heavyweight title again. You could make a movie about this shit, and people just don't see it yet. Whether he can pull it off or not is up to anyone's interpretation, but you can't deny this man's heart and perseverance. Dominic Reyes is A tier. As always, thank you for watching. Drop your favorite Dom Reyes moment down below, and it can't just be him beating Jon Jones. Come on, we can do better than that. MMA makes no fucking sense, but I'm out here trying to put it all together. Until next time.